What more should I say about this struggle? On top of being, in addition to just being resilient, it's also managed to have some very definite gains on the ground. In Budus, the wall was pushed back thanks to the demonstrations of the people of Budus. In Bil'in and Bet Likia, Bet Zurik, sorry, the wall was pushed back thanks to court decisions. Those court decisions were undoubtedly influenced by the fact that the popular struggle existed and was very well known even in Israel. That's another achievement of the struggle, that it's been able to become visible and not suppressed and made invisible. The other part of the work that I think grew out of the anti-Zionist left in Israel and the anarchist group had something to do with was recent work in the BDS movement. In 2009, a group was formed in Israel with the purpose of supporting the Palestinian call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions issued in 2005 by the Boycott National Committee. Again, the arc of this story is that the Israeli group is becoming less essential to the global movement, and I think that's good news. The work that the Israeli group was required to do in the beginning was to help protect groups around the world who were afraid of backlash for their BDS work. They found it necessary to have support from an Israeli group to protect themselves from backlash. That's less and less the case these days. The movement is matured and strong enough that the backlash is no longer seen as a threat to much of it around the world. The actual work, other than giving political support to groups who need it, the actual work is actually almost purely intellectual, as opposed to the focus of the anarchist group elsewhere, which is to work on the ground as much as possible. It's quite a shift in the group Boycott from Within, where the work is almost completely intellectual. I remember a case where I met one of the leaders of a Palestinian group called Stop the Wall, Jamal Juma. I met him at a demonstration, and he says, it's good to have you guys out here, but if you ask me, the most useful thing that you can do is go back to your computer and work on that, and write statements and do research for BDS. I don't quite agree with him, but I take the point that sometimes you ought to do the tactic that maybe doesn't come naturally, but it might be the one that's most useful. I do think that in this case, the boycott movement is one where the movement has several advantages, and the side that's trying to undermine this movement is really out of their element. They're really incompetent when it comes to actually doing something political in the West, when it's not handed to them for free, and their attempts are really self-defeating. My favorite example of the last couple of months is a case of an American company that's considering to do something for BDS, a statement or anything. They the board of this American company came to Jerusalem for meetings. They met with representatives of the Boycott National Committee, who made a presentation to them about the need for boycott. They were very impressed, and the point was very well made. But to be fair, this American group wanted to hear from the other side, and they invited representatives of the Israeli Foreign Ministry, who also came and made a presentation to the board of this American company. And at the end of this presentation, these board members told me that they found the representatives of the foreign ministry more convincing than the Palestinian speakers for BDS. They were more convincing for the case of boycotts. This American board, and you know, the foreign ministry sends the top people. This is a company that's worth. It's worth them making the effort. They send their top people, and the best that they can do was a self-defeating effort. This board could not believe the combination of incompetence and racism that was displayed by the foreign ministry, who spoke about God giving the land to the chosen people, and the danger of Arabs. That is what the best of the foreign ministry has to offer to try to convince an American board of directors. It's an indication of how out of touch Israeli propaganda is truly is with the West, and how unsuited they are for making their own case. And I think that it's really an opportunity where the solidarity movement has an advantage, and it's making progress along these lines. And I think it's a good opportunity, and it should be followed up on. And maybe I'll stop here and take questions.